And welcome back to Fantasy Central. It's your boy Z Money, aka the Oracle, here with the one, the only, the FANTASY guru himself, Effie.
What's going on, fantasy footballers? What an introduction.
No, I had to change it up a little bit, try to get my little, I don't even know what on, but I tried, right?
I like it.
Yeah, but bruh, I'm hyped. You know why?
What happened?
This week right here, This week, right here, is the beginning of the mother fantasy playoffs, baby.
Yeah, it is. Been waiting all year. Unfortunately, just barely missed out in your league, but I'm top dog in my league, so it's all right.
Yeah, kind of the same. I missed yours, but I slid right in there at the end, man. It was looking down. I lost like five straight, and finally, right at the end, I kicked it back up and slid in there. So we'll
Yeah, what
see how
happened?
that
Nick
goes.
Chubb came back and everything turned around for your team, right?
Hey, that's right. Finally got my players healthy. It took all season, but they came in clutch at the end. So we'll see how that turns out. But for all you listeners out there, Hefe and I want to say thank you for tuning into us this season. But the job is not done. Today is the most important show we've had. Now it's time to really show out, whether you're in the main playoffs or you're down there in the consolations. Wherever you may be, especially if you're in the consolation bracket, do everybody in your league a huge favor. Ride this bad boy out until the end. Keep it fun. Keep it competitive until the end. Because you know what, Hefe?
What's that?
This is the last time you'll have fantasy football until next September. So soak it up, play it out, enjoy these last few weeks of this crazy 2020 fantasy season.
That's right. Like you said, most important week right here. I mean, if you're now, see, my thing is like if you're not in the playoffs, like just be a sport and just use the team you have. Don't touch the waiver wire. Let the big boys be the ones to be able to get the players. Don't mess somebody up. But either way, most important week of the season right here for fantasy football waivers.
Absolutely. So before we get started, real quick, as always, hop on our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, and once we hit 1,000 subscribers, you have a shot at a free NFL jersey from the NFL shop, bought and paid for by us as a token of appreciation. That's like a free $100 or more for 10 seconds of your time. So with that said, let's do the damn thing. Are you ready, Hefe?
I'm ready to do it.
Week 14, round one of the 2020 fantasy football playoffs waiver wire. Now, the most important wire of the season. So, as always, let's get started with the running backs. If you're in need of a running back this week, who are you targeting on the wire?
So first is going to be Peyton Barber, and this one's kind of conditional, right? You're probably if you have Antonio Gibson, you definitely want to be targeting Peyton Barber as your number one pick. I think there's probably a good chance Antonio Gibson does miss this game. So Peyton Barber going to be pretty high up there this week, I think. If you pick him up, go ahead and play him. I also like Cam Akers for the Rams. He handled pretty much all the touches and a big bulk of the snaps for the Rams this past week. So I like Cam Akers if he's going to keep getting that volume. He looks really explosive when he gets in the game. He was injured earlier in the year, and so they were using Daryl Henderson and Malcolm Brown and pretty much letting Cam learn behind the more veteran guys. But it seems like now that they're ready to make their playoff push, they're using the rookie and getting that explosiveness. So I like Cam Akers. I don't know about the matchup. You might, if you have somebody else, maybe you're not playing him this week because you want to see if he sustains his touches. But somebody going forward that I think if he gets the touches, I like playing him week to week. And then Ty Johnson here. Frank Gore probably going to miss a week with the concussion. He's a tough guy. You'll want to check on that. But in my opinion, Frank Gore is probably going to be out. Ty Johnson is going to be the fill-in guy, and he's more likely to get passing game work. They're probably going to be down in the game this week, and he's more versatile in my opinion than a Frank Gore is at Frank Gore's age, and he's not that fast and explosive anymore. Ty Johnson might get some more valuable running back work, so I like him.
Yeah, I like the Ty Johnson one too. I definitely think he's probably going to be the number one running back off the board, especially having a big game that he had last week. So I agree with you there. Let's move on to wide receivers. Who are you targeting this week?
So first up is going to be Kiki Cutie. So, Brandon Cooks may or may not miss a game. That's undetermined. I don't think he'll be out, but I've heard other reports saying that he may be out. So keep an eye on Brandon Cooks. But either way, Kiki Cutie might be the number one receiver. Either way, going to be the number two receiver. Deshaun Watson is on fire right now. So somebody that going into your playoffs is going to be very valuable. I think he's only rostered in 21% of leagues, I believe it was. So somebody that you go see if he's there. There's a good possibility. Go ahead and pick him up for your playoff run. Another guy, T.Y. Hilton. Now, this is a speculative ad. He always goes off against Houston, but he's put two games together in a row that were pretty good and good for fantasy production. And so T.Y. Hilton, some people say, most notably Bill Belichick, the season doesn't start until Thanksgiving. So if that's what we're going to see here is T.Y. Hilton be big after Thanksgiving and for this playoff push, then I like T.Y. Hilton for your playoff push here. And another one is Allen Lazard, a guy that is surprisingly not rostered in as many leagues as you would think. But still somebody, if he's there, go ahead and pick him up. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is quarterback. He's a number two receiver there. You like that. And then Tim Patrick is somebody that we've talked about here before, but because of his injuries earlier in the season, he was dropped in a lot of leagues. He's still not been re-picked up in leagues. And while he doesn't get the volume from game to game that you would like, Drew Lock targets him a lot in the red zone, and that's what you want to see. That's basically what Mike Evans' value is, and he's still being started week to week in pretty much every league. So Tim Patrick, a guy that I like picked up and probably started at least as a flex in most leagues.
Yeah, I like the first three you said, especially Kiki Cutie. If Brandon Cooks is out, he's going to be all they have. He had a huge game against the Colts last week, and that was with Cooks in. And obviously, we all know Will Fuller is suspended pretty much for the rest of the season. So definitely pick him up. Like you said, Deshaun Watson's balling out. He'll get him the ball. He'll get the points. He'll rack it up. I love that pick there. T.Y. Hilton, same thing. He used to be one of the best receivers in the game. He's kind of fallen off the last couple of years, but he does seem to be finding his rhythm in the Indy offense. So definitely look for T.Y. He could break out anytime. They love the little underneath routes to him, the slants on him. He's fast. He'll catch the ball. He'll get the points. He's been proving that these last couple games, like you said. And Allen Lazard has proven himself throughout the course of the season. He can get the job done too. So with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, they're trying to throw up points as quickly as they can. He's sure to break out as well. All right. I believe you have, one quarterback here?
Yep, one quarterback to mention. It came out, we're recording this at 4 o'clock on Tuesday, and it came out just a little while ago that Jalen Hurts is going to be the starter against the Saints this upcoming week, getting the start over Carson Wentz. And, as much as I hate to admit it, because I'm a huge Carson Wentz fan, I've been a backer of Carson Wentz. He looked better in that offense. And so if that brings a spark and the offense looks good, there's value there with him in his legs being able to have some scrambling ability. So I like Jalen Hurts.
Well, I didn't see that one coming, but there you have it. He very well could. I mean, he's a rookie, so you never know, but he can run, he can escape, and he's young. He can make plays. He's proven that in Alabama and Oklahoma. So we'll see how that turns out. So let's move on to the must-start players based off the best matchups of the week. Running backs, go.
So this first one is an obvious choice, right? But just want to let everybody know that CMC is back. He has already been confirmed. He's playing. He's in the lineup this week. Sit it and forget it. You're good for the playoffs. Thank goodness, good for the playoffs. David Montgomery has looked really good over the last couple games. He came back from his concussion. He has looked on fire. The only good thing about that Bears offense the last couple weeks. So play him against the Texans. Texans are terrible against running backs. Again, talking about Peyton Barber here, already mentioned if you pick him up, you're playing him. If Gibson plays, you're playing him. They're playing the Niners. Still kind of a tough matchup, but either way, I like it. And then Wayne Gallman here going against the Cardinals. It's the Cardinals, right? The defense has been subpar over the last month of the season. Wayne Gallman has been really picking it up over the last month of the season. And at the time we're recording this, right, we still have the Ravens game that has to happen tonight. But as of right now, Wayne Gallman is a leading rusher for Week 13 of the NFL season. So somebody that I really like as a weekly starter in your playoff run.
I agree. I have him on one of my rosters. I don't know if I'm going to play him. I have a toss-up right now behind Naheem Hines and Wayne Gallman. Both have been producing, so it's kind of 50-50. I got to look into that a little bit more. The David Montgomery, absolutely. I picked him up a few weeks ago, back-to-back 27-point games. I don't see him slowing down. And, of course, Christian McCaffrey, you got him. You got to play him. That's a gimme right there.
Yeah.
If you're not, then you probably shouldn't be playing fantasy football.
Yeah, I'd like to see the percentage of times he's been benched while being active.
Yeah, I wonder how that turned out for him.
30 points on the bench.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, time for the segment of the show. Actually, no, we got to hit receivers, don't we? Yeah. Who are you starting on the receiving end?
So the first one, if he's not suspended, is going to be Devontae Parker. The Dolphins, in my opinion, as good as the Dolphins defense is, they're going against the Chiefs. And the Chiefs are going to put points on the board. It's a guarantee. Well, I guess maybe not a guarantee, right? Because the Broncos game. But I think they get those. I don't think it's going to be the same thing as the Broncos game. Devontae Parker, the number one guy there in Miami, he gets a lot of targets, but he might be suspended. Now, if Devontae Parker is suspended, I should have looked into this, and it's my fault for not doing it. But if he's not in the game, then whoever steps up into that number one role for the Dolphins is going to get a lot of targets. So whoever that is, play that guy, especially in DFS. Then we move on here to Deontay Johnson. Seems to kind of, and correct me if I'm wrong, but kind of looks like he's taken over as the number one as the season's rolled on for Pittsburgh. I think he's more the number one. He gets a lot of targets for them. He gets some catches, some explosive plays. They're playing the Bills. And so it depends. I think Claypool might get the Trey White shadow, but if it's Deontay Johnson, maybe it's not as big of a day. But I think Deontay Johnson has a pretty good chance of having a good day here against the Bills. Corey Davis, another guy I like. He's had some big games all year long, here and there. I think all but one game this year he's scored double-digit points. So at the least, his floor is at flex for you. So they're going against the Jags. He should have another good game here. And staying in that same game, I like DJ Chark. The Titans secondary has been exposed many times this year. The Jags offense looks better with Mike Glennon in it. So I like DJ Chark. It's hard to pick a receiver, right? But sometimes it's Keelan Cole. It might be D.D. Westbrook on a 1 out of 6 chance that he's the guy. But I do like DJ Chark. I think Mike Glennon and him have built up a pretty good rapport over the last couple of weeks. So go ahead and play him.
Yeah, all 4 of those are quality playmakers. I have Devontae Parker on one of my – I think he's in my roster in your league. Right now I've been kind of debating back and forth, depending on the outcome of whether he's going to be suspended or not, whether I start him or Amari Cooper. So it's kind of a toss-up. I like Cooper, but it's the Cowboys. You know how they are, and they do have CD Lamb out there and
Gallup.
Yeah, Gallup. So, yeah, I'm kind of on the fence with that. I'll see how that all plays out, make a decision later on in this week whether I'm going to start Parker or Amari Cooper. I could put one at the flex, but then again, I have Nick Chubb at the flex because I have David Montgomery and Myles Gaskin also starting.
You're going to be a problem in your playoffs, dude.
Well, that one's in your league, and I'm not in the playoffs. So.
Oh, that is so unfortunate.
I know, right? But Deontay Johnson, I agree with you. He does get a lot of targets, and he's a more than capable playmaker. Big Ben will get him the ball. He'll put up some points for you. Same thing with Corey Davis and DJ Chark. They're both DJ Chark was, a Pro Bowler last year?
I believe so.
Yeah, and Corey Davis may be a Pro Bowler this year. You don't know. So, all right, well, now is the time for the segment in the show where everybody looks at us like a bunch of dumbasses saying, no way I'm going to sit that guy. But when the week's over and you lost, especially now that we're in the playoffs, you're like, damn, I should have listened to those Horsemen boys. But I will throw in a disclaimer that all the information provided in this show is purely based off opinion, and you are encouraged to do your own research and determine the best roster to play. Because if we just so happen to be wrong, which is very rare, I might add, we don't want to take the blame, you feel me?
Yeah, exactly. Glad you started this out like that because I got some big time names on here this weekend.
Oh boy, here we go. All right. Well, must start bench warmers for the week. Let it rip, Hefe.
So we're gonna start, and I can't believe I'm even saying this. Alvin Kamara.
What?
I know it, man.
What?
Going
No
against,
way.
but Alvin Kamara just hasn't been getting the targets. He has 3 catches since Taysom Hill took over. That's 3 games. And it's just not been good. And obviously, when you talk about the Saints running game, Latavius Murray gets about a 50-50 split in carries. So they're going against the Eagles. The Eagles defense is not the problem. Okay, the Eagles offense has been inept. That's the problem there. The Eagles defense has been okay. Obviously, Darius Slay is a big part of that in the coverage game, but the running backs haven't been, over the top great against the Eagles. So with everything that factors into it, I just think it's a recipe for disaster for week 1 in the playoffs. I think people aren't going to listen to me and are going to keep him in the lineup, but I think that decision is going to cost people their week 1 in their playoffs. Another guy that might cost you week 1 in the playoffs is going to be Josh Jacobs going against the Colts. Another guy that, over the last couple of weeks has kind of been up and down, a couple really big weeks and then a couple subpar weeks. And obviously, he doesn't get passing game production either. So his production is predicated on being able to get a lot of yards through having a lot of carries. And he's got to be able to get touchdowns. And the Colts are very, very stingy against running backs. They don't let up a whole lot of running back yards or running back receptions. So another one that I think you're going to want to sit this week. And the last one here, he's been here before, probably no surprises here again. It's going to be Kenyon Drake. They're going against the Giants. The Giants also very stingy against running backs. This past week, once again, Chase Edmonds outsnaps Kenyon Drake. They're probably going to be down in this game, in my opinion. And when they do that, Edmonds plays more snaps. So I don't like Kenyon Drake this week.
You weren't kidding. Those are some pretty damn big names right there.
All top 10 in every draft this year.
Yeah. So we'll see how it comes out. They don't call you the fantasy guru for nothing. So we'll see if you live up to your expectations here.
Yeah, those ones right there are going to test me this week.
All right, moving on to wide receivers. Who are you avoiding?
So I had this guy on here last week, and I have him on here again, and it's going to be DeAndre Hopkins. Going against
what?
I know it, man, but he gets shadowed by James Bradbury here. Another terrible matchup for him. The offense. Kyler Murray. It's been rumored that he hurt his shoulder, and over the last couple of weeks, it's been more of not a rumor, but people are kind of seeing Kyler Murray's shoulder has been an issue. There's something going on there. There's something wrong with him. And so the passing game usage just hasn't been there. Obviously, DeAndre is going to get the targets, but the downfield work that DeAndre usually gets isn't really there right now. And again, bad matchup. James Bradbury has been really, really good. Probably a top 3 corner, maybe one of the top 2 corners in the league this year. And one of the big reasons the Giants' defense has been as effective as it is. So D-Hop, a matchup I don't like. If you have some other playmaker that can get you like a double digit, if you have a Corey Davis on your teams or a T. Higgins, I would rather play them instead this week. And then also Julio Jones, which is another huge name.
Bro, you are killing me right now. I got both those guys.
Yeah, it's tough, man. But Julio over the last 2 weeks, if you watch those games, he can't stay on the field for a sustained period of time. He plays some plays, comes off for some plays, can't finish a drive. He gets on for some plays. And obviously when Julio's on the field, Matty Ice is looking at him, but Julio just hasn't been doing much. There's a chance, if he aggravates it enough in a game that they pull him from a game and he can't go. So, if you're in the first round of your playoffs and you're looking at Julio on and off the field, on and off the field, and then they pull him at halftime because they're getting their ass kicked, and it's not worth him staying out there at that point. Then he ends up with 6 points, and you lose because of it. It's going to hurt you. So again, if you can get somebody that can get you that low double digit kind of production this week, then I would rather play them. And another guy in that same space is going to be Juju. I've had him here probably 6 or 7 times this year. It's worked out most of the time, but he looks like more of a number 3 option right now. And I understand, that may be an unfair assessment because of my bias against him. I want to be right with the Juju thing. I said a while ago that I didn't think he was a number 1. Seems like he's relegated to more of a number 3 on that team right now. But the good news for his production is the fact that the Steelers they suck at running the ball this year, so they just stopped trying to run the ball. They haven't even tried doing it the last couple games. I think 15 carries or 18 carries each of the last couple games. So they're passing the ball a lot, which is good. But the passing isn't going to Juju a lot. So go ahead and sit him against the Bills.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Juju thing. I haven't been a fan of Juju. I don't think he is a number 1 receiver. I think he looked like a number 1 receiver when Big Ben had other weapons to throw to. That freed him up, and he was able to make plays based off that. But I agree with you. I think Juju, not a big fan. He does look like a number 3 receiver on that team, especially with Claypool arriving this year as a rookie. Julio Jones, you make a very fair point there. He has been injured all season long. He does come in, play a little bit, comes out for the rest of the game. Don't end up with much. It's going to be very hard to sit him. I will definitely have to do some soul searching on whether or not I will sit him this week. But you do bring up a very fair point. And same thing with DeAndre Hopkins. He has struggled the last few weeks, but he's still D-Hop. He's capable of breaking out, be the number 1 receiver in the entire league. So I don't know. I'll consider it. I think I have D-Hop in. Let me check my roster real quick. Got D-Hop in with is it in your league? Yeah, I got D-Hop in your league. Okay, so it's not that big a deal for me. Yeah, I got Devontae Parker in there. I got Devontae Parker and Amari Cooper and D-Hop. So 2 of those 3 I got to play. If Devontae Parker ends up being suspended or whatever, then D-Hop's staying in there. But you bring up a fair point. It's a bad matchup. Who knows what it can happen. The best of the best going against each other, so we'll see.
Yeah, it should be fun to watch again. Between all the sitters that I had this week, it's 6 guys that were all taken in the top 20 of every 10-team league. So, it's going to be hard to sit them. But those are guys that I think if you can avoid playing them this week, avoid it.
Yep. So as we said earlier, do your research, make your best judgment, because you set your roster. We don't set it for you. We're just giving you opinions, man, even though we're usually right. But hey, what can I say? All right, Hefe's Week 14 power rankings are already out on Facebook and Twitter. You can check that out at our Facebook and Twitter pages at Horsemen Sports. Let us know what you think about your favorite team's rankings in the comments section. Talk some shit. Keep Hefe entertained. He loves to argue with you. And again, help us reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and you have a shot at winning a free authentic NFL jersey from the NFL shop. You have anything else you want to throw out before we go, Hefe?
Yeah, so it's just one note here that's going to be pretty big for some fantasy managers. If you have DeAndre Swift, apparently his concussion now he's already missed 2 games because of concussion. So you kind of figured that it was worse than what a lot of guys get. But it's been severe enough that he's already been ruled out for this upcoming game, and there's rumors that he may miss the rest of the year. And which is not a good sign, right? This is a rookie running back. Running backs take a lot of punishment in their career. So, for fantasy managers, it sucks that you may not have him for the rest of the year. But just to see, as good as he was, hopefully it's not something that really impacts him. Hopefully he can come back next year and be not only a big contributor for fantasy managers, but a big contributor for the Lions. He's exciting to watch. Just unfortunate to have a concussion. You know, if you've had a concussion before, you know they're no joke. They're lingering effects that last a really long time. So hopefully this is something that he can bounce back from in the off season and get himself right.
Yeah, I can attest to that through personal experiences from high school and college. It is not something to joke about. So we hope he can bounce back. We hope it's not as serious as what it's coming out to be. So, uh, yeah, we'll see how that turns out. But that's all we got for you guys today. We'll be back on Thursday with Brad for our Week 14 picks and preview show. We'll see you then, and thanks for listening and hanging out with us today.